Hello guys, thank you for coming back to the channel. If you're new, please consider subscribing. Anyway guys, so I did a podcast last night for my other podcast, Scary Stories with Toby B. And so I read 4 details of like 3 mysteries, like unsolved murder cases. Well, I mean unsolved mysteries basically, because they never found the body and they don't know if the person got killed or so on and so on. So and I'm also noted because I have a notebook that I wrote all my ideas down in for my channel, and I was gonna do a haul today. We're gonna talk about all the movies I watched last month, but I can't find it, so I'm probably just going to do like all the shows I binged, and I'm drinking my Coke, which I was sponsored by Coke. And I'm also having fun on TikTok. Guys, if you have a TikTok, I'll put the link down below so you guys can follow me. I'm having fun on TikTok. So, let me put this down. Let's get into this. So, let me get into this. And my other phone's charging. Yeah. Okay, so where was this? I mean, guys, I need a new phone so bad right now, like I'm not even kidding. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so, here we go. Okay. Alright, so, I remember which story I read on the podcast. Okay, so the first one was the chilling disappearance of Brianna Matlin. Okay, so, I'll read this full description. On March 19th, 2004, 17-year-old Brianna Matlin left her shift at the Black Lantern Inn around 11:20 p.m. What happened next remains a mystery to this day. Earlier that same day, Matlin had completed a test to obtain her GED and had lunch with her mother, Keely, to celebrate. The two then went out shopping, where, according to Matlin's mother, something or someone caught Matlin's eye outside the store. She went outside to investigate, and when her mother joined her there, the young woman seemed tense and shaken and agitated. Matlin said that she needed to go home to prepare for her evening shift at the Black Lantern Inn, and not wanting to pry into her daughter's private life, Keely drove Matlin back to the apartment that she shared with her friend Julian Stout. It was the last time she would see her daughter. The year before, Brianna Matlin had decided to move out of her family home in order to be closer to her friends who attended a different high school 15 miles away. Things did not go according to plans, however, and soon after, Matlin dropped out of school entirely. Despite this rough patch, it took the young woman only a few months to secure more stable living arrangements, including working 2 jobs. According to those who knew Brianna Matlin had gotten her life back together. She was even talking about attending college part-time once she received her GED results. Before leaving for her shift at the Black Lantern Inn, Matlin had left a note for her roommate saying she would be home after work. When her shift at the restaurant was over, several of her coworkers asked her to stay and have dinner with them. But she said that she was tired and needed to get home and rest because she had work at her second job in the morning. Her coworker said that Matlin got into her 1985 Oldsmobile alone and drove off into the night. Now, this is where stuff gets weird. Next day, several passing motorists reported an abandoned car with its rear end stuck in the wall of a vacant building. The Dutch Burn farmhouse, about a mile from the Black Lantern Inn. When state troopers investigated, they found Brianna Matlin's 1985 Oldsmobile around the car. Police found loose change, a water bottle, and an unlit cigarette. Inside the car, 2 of Brianna Matlin's uncashed paychecks and various other personal effects were found. The trooper who first visited the scene assumed that the car had been abandoned there by a drunk driver and had a tow truck take it to the impound lot. He drove back to the Black Lantern Inn and then attempted to get more information, but finding it closed. Radioed in his report and thought a little more of it at the time. However, even before the trooper came to the car, several passersby found the scene suspicious, or at least interesting enough to stop and take photographs. The resulting image of the car stuck partway into the building of the old gray house presents a strangely haunting tableau. And more than one observer, including both Matlin's mother and the host of the Trace Evidence podcast, has said they felt a sort of incentive chill upon seeing the photograph. My stomach rolled, Kelly Matlin later said of her immediate reaction to the photo. I started to shake. I saw the evil in the picture. Matlin's mother said she knew immediately that it wasn't her daughter who left her car in such a state. However, it wasn't until several days after the car was discovered that Brianna Matlin's disappearance was recognized, with plans already in place to spend the weekend with her boyfriend. Jillian Stout thought little of Matlin's note when they saw it that Friday night. It wasn't until Jillian returned home the following Monday and found the note in the same place that she began to worry. Assuming that her roommate had spent the weekend with her parents, Jillian didn't call until that Tuesday, when she phoned Keely and Bruce Matlin. They in turn began calling around to their daughter's various friends, and none of whom reported having seen her final shift at work. Finally, Matlin's panicked parents called the police and filed a missing persons report, but by then the daughter had already been gone for almost a week. And the years since, innumerable theories have come forward about what happened to Matlin that night. Police and Brianna's family almost immediately began receiving phone calls from someone claiming that the young woman had been kidnapped, that her body was at the bottom of a river or lake, and had been tied to a tree, tied to a tree in the woods, or disposed of at a hog farm. One call claimed that Brianna Matlin was being held against her will in the house of two known drug dealers in a town not far away. While the two men were investigated in relation to the disappearance, neither was ever charged. Well, I mean, there were lots of different theories that came out. There were lots of people that were calling and, making, claims like that. This is only one avenue investigated by police. Matlin had recently been in an altercation with another teen at a park, supposedly over the board. The other young woman had punched Matlin in the face, leaving her with a broken nose and concussion. She filed charges against a friend, which were dropped by the police 3 weeks after her disappearance. Police stated that they had investigated the friend and she had been cleared of any involvement. A more chilling possibility was that Brianna Matlin's disappearance might have been somehow connected to the disappearance of Maura Moray. Just a month before and about 90 miles away. Investigators, however, never revealed any connection between the two cases later. A potential connection between Brianna Matlin's disappearance and serial killer Israel Keyes was brought to light. But the FBI eventually ruled out Keyes' involvement in the case. Keyes later killed himself in prison in 2012 after confessing to a string of rapes and murders. Other theories speculate that Brianna Matlin was still alive after she had run away or been sold into sex slavery in 2006. A woman who resembled Matlin was spotted on security footage at the Caesars World Casino in Atlantic City, though the woman was never identified. In 2006, police developed that they had recovered DNA samples from the car at the time of Matlin's disappearance, but to this day, what happened to her on that dark March night remains a mystery. And this is what the girl looked like. Honestly, what I think someone kidnapped her. I think she either got kidnapped or she got a concussion and she got amnesia and she doesn't know who she is. All right. This next one I'm about to read is about an actress that went missing years ago. And I have a theory that her ex her ex-husband's the one that caused her to disappear. And after that, I have one about an extra that the guy killed. That was supposedly in the background. Supposedly extra in Jaws. Alright, let's do the actress one. Yeah, and then I'll go and film my other video. Okay. Okay, so... Oh, yeah. Okay. The one about the actress going missing is the disappearance of Jean Spangler. Yeah. When I read this last night on the podcast, I was like, yeah, the sides of pointing her ex-husband. Okay. On October 7, 1949, aspiring Hollywood actress Jean Spangler kissed her 5-year-old daughter goodbye and told her sister-in-law she was going to meet her ex-husband and talk about his late child support payment. And a trip straight from a L.A. novel, she walked out the door and was never seen again. The last person to see her alive was a clerk in the local store near her home. She stood outside. He said, like she was waiting for someone to pick her up. When the actress never returned home, Spangler's sister-in-law Sophie filed a police report the very next day. The investigation immediately turned to Spangler's ex-husband, a man named Dexter Benner. The two had an acrimonious divorce and ruthless custody battle over their daughter, Christy. Dexter, who by the time had remarried, claimed to have been at home that evening with his wife, Lynn. He said he didn't know anything about meeting and has spoken to Spangler in nearly 2 years. The police found Spangler's purse on October 9th near the Ferndale entrance to Griff Park. Both straps were torn as if the back had been ripped from a shoulder. There was no money in the purse, but there was a strange handwritten note. It read, "Kirk can't wait any longer. Going to see Dr. Scott. It will work best this way while Mother's away." The note ended in a comma as if the author had been interrupted while writing, though the Los Angeles police swept Griffith Park. No other evidence was uncovered. And that's what the girl looked like. And let me see. This is the other one. Yeah. Okay. The content of the note led investigators to believe that perhaps Spangler was pregnant and planned to get an abortion. Hence, the mention of going to a doctor. When questioned, Spangler's friends corroborated that she was, in fact, 3 months pregnant and planning on getting an abortion. But who was this mysterious Kirk to whom the note was addressed? At the time of her disappearance, Spangler was working as an extra on the set of the new Kirk Douglas movie, Young Man with a Horn. When questioned by the police, Douglas said he had heard Spangler's name, but did not know her personally. Apparently, that was enough for the police, and they dropped him as a suspect. But suspicions were raised. What if Spangler and Douglas had been having an affair? Because Spangler had been pregnant with Douglas's child, and if so, could this have contributed to her vanishing? The plot thickened when police discovered that Spangler had been seen around town with a man named Davy Ogle, a notorious associate of mobster Mickey Cohn. Ogle had disappeared without trace about 2 days after Spangler vanished, and the police spoke to someone in El Paso, Texas, who said he spotted Ogle with a woman who matched Spangler's description. Perhaps they skipped town together. Spangler's family dismissed the theory. I'm sure she would have communicated with us if she's alive and free. Her mother, Florence, said, "Anybody can tell me that Spangler's family dismissed the story. I'm sure she would have communicated with us if she's alive and free." Her mother, Florence, said, "And nobody can tell me that she would have left her baby unless she was forced to do so. She loved her so much." Back in Los Angeles, a police department circulated pictures of Spangler for years. Gossip columnist Lorelai Parson even offered a $1,000 reward for any information on the investigation. At least the case went cold. Spangler was still listed as a missing person, and every once in a blue moon, the LA Police Department receives calls and that she's been so far in California, Phoenix, Arizona, and New Mexico. For Spangler's family, however, the nightmare continues. After her disappearance, the custody of Christine was transferred back to her father, who refused to let the grandmother see her. Another court battle began when the judge granted Florence Spangler visitation rights. Benner fled the state, taking Christine with him. They were never seen again. What truly happened to Jean Spangler? Who did she go and meet after kissing her daughter on the cheek and stepping out into the night? We may never know. My theories is, okay, this is my theories. Her ex-husband has something to do with it because they were having a custody battle, or something to do with the mob, because the guy that she was spotted with, he went missing 2 days before her. So, one of the two. This is the last one. All right, this one. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so let me get it out. And some of these words in these stories, I can't even fucking read them. Like, what the hell? Okay. Oh, this one is Land of the Downs was the unidentified Cape Cod murder. Victim and extra in Jaws. Yeah. There it is. Look. There it is, guys. And I'm also going to use those pictures for my thumbnail. Okay. Come on. Come on. Okay. She was found on July 26, 1974, lying face down on a beach towel in the Duns near Provincetown, Massachusetts. Her hands were missing, and small piles of pin needles were left in their place. Her head had been crushed and nearly severed from her body, possible with some sort of military entrancing tool. Police suggested she had died weeks before the July 26th discovery. With no clear way to identify her, the victim soon became known as the Lady of the Dunes. Who she is, why she was slain so brutally, and who ended her life are all mysteries that remain unsolved to this day. When she was discovered, police conducted extensive searches of the surrounding dunes, combed through missing person files, and compared tire tracks found near scene to those of countless vehicles. Yet they found nothing to explain the murder of the Lady of the Dunes. What we do know about her, sadly, precious little. She was anywhere between 20 to 49 years old, and a more precious identification made possible by the condition of the body. Though she had dental work, including expensive crowns done and what police called the New York style consultations with dentists have failed to yield any clues. Some of her teeth were removed, along with both of her hands and one forearm. Her nearly severed head was cushioned on a pair of carefully folded Wrangler jeans and a blue bandana. She was later arrested in 1974, but has been exhumed several times in the years since. Facial reconstruction was performed in 1979. Her body was exhumed in 1980 and again in 2000 for DNA testing. 2010, her skull, which hadn't been re-entered with the rest of her body, was put through a CT scanner in order to produce more accurate facial reconstructions. In 2006, the serial killer Hayden Clark confessed to the murder of the Lady of the Dunes. There was evidence that didn't back it up, and he also struggles with paranoid schizophrenia about it, and the authorities doubted his claim. Over the years, police also, as well as amateur celebs, have pursued and put forth a wide variety of possible leads in the case. At one time, it was just thought that the Lady of Dunes may have been another victim of serial killer Tony Costa, but Costa was convicted of his crimes in 1970 and hanged himself in a cell in May of 1974. Before the lady was killed, others attributed her death to notorious mobster Ridley Spangler, who was known to have removed some of his victims' teeth, but no connection between the lady and Spangler has ever been established. Other leads have also been followed, including a number of missing persons roughly matching the age and description of the Lady of the Dunes. All these leads have been ruled out, while investigators, both professional and amateur, have maintained a continuing interest in the slaying. The case of the Lady of the Dunes has been cold since 1970s. So basically, what ends up happening is Stephen King has a son. Let's see. His name. Let me see. Yeah, Stephen King's son. Okay, what's this? Okay. Joe Hill. He's the one that, when he's watching Josh, he knows in the background a girl looks exactly like her. And back then, they didn't have, when they would film movies and have the extras, they would have it written down, you know, who all the extras were. Yeah. And they've never been able to identify her killer. But that's basically the end of it, basically. But I don't know, like, this mystery and that Matlin girl and the Jean Spangler, today, because of the technology we have today, the police would be able to solve them. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. I love you, and peace.